Okay, guys, it's Friday morning or afternoon, depends what class or period you're in. We're going to move on to a surface area of triangular prisms. So we're going to work on this in class, this page in class, all right, and then your homework is going to be homework number 11, and this will be checked on Monday, okay? So let's take a peek at this thing and get after it here, all right? Make sure you have your calculator, and let's get ready to roll. Don't forget I assigned a new Khan Academy, and it will be due next Friday. So anyway, all right. So what we have here is our net of our triangular prism, and what we're going to do is kind of transpose some numbers here, right? So here we are. So let's start with this piece, and I'm going to write that as 9, and I'll label it all at the end, okay? Now, I need to figure out, all right, this side, right? All right, well, when I look at this triangle, all right, it looks to be an equilateral triangle because it has hashes there. So all of these sides are 5. So this would fold up to there, and that would be 5, right? If that's 9, this is 9. But what we need to do is figure out what is the height of our triangle, all right? And we can clearly see that they're giving it to us of 4.3, okay? So I'm not so much interested in doing all the, 1/2 the base times the height. What I'm interested in doing is writing down some numbers here. So I know the area of this rectangle was 9 times 5, which is 45. This is the same as this, it's 45. And this one is the same as this, and it's 45, right? So what we're going to do here is find the area of this triangle. Well, I know this is 5 because that was 5. So I'm just going to kind of set this up 1/2 times 4.3 times 5 is going to give us the area of this triangle. And then I'm going to double it because there are 2 triangles, right? So if I plug all of that into my calculator, I'm going to show you here. All right, so it's 4.3 times 5 times 1/2 times 2, and I end up getting 21 and 5/10, right? So 21 and 5/10. Now, what is this the area to? It's the area to this triangle and this triangle. So I'm going to add that to 45, 45, and 45. So those 4 numbers added together, all right, are going to be, and I'm doing this on my calculator right now, is 156 and 5/10 inches square. Okay? So there's a lot to this. And the hardest part is to decompose it, isn't it? So it is. Okay. Next up, we have another triangular prism. And this triangular prism, all right, has a lot of dimensions here. So let's get started here. I know this piece. All right, so let's start with our triangle, right? Our triangle, all right? And if we start with our triangle here, all right, I know that this piece right here is 15, okay? All right. I need the height of the triangle. So the height of the triangle, when you look at it, all right, if that's 8 over there, that is 8, all right? This has to be 8 because when that folded up, it met there, right? We also need this long edge, and I can see that that is 10, okay? Is there any other pieces I need here? Yes. The long side, or the front of this kind of doorstop, is 17, okay? So you could start transposing numbers in here and say this is 10, this is 10, this is 10, right? And we can kind of go from there, right? Okay. So let's take a peek at this. 17 times 10 for this rectangle is 170. I'm going to circle this. The second rectangle is 15 times 10 is 150. And the last rectangle is 8 times 10, and it is 80. Okay? Now we need to figure out our triangles here. So I'm going to find the area of one. And again, I'm going to double it. The base of our triangle is 15 times the height of our triangle is 8. Okay? And when I get that, I'm going to end up with 60. That's 180 divided by 2 is 60. So that is 60 and this is 60 because these two are equal, right? So if we add up all of our circled numbers, okay, 60 plus 60 plus 80 plus 150 plus 170. We add all of those up, we're going to end up with 520 centimeters square. And you're certainly welcome to pause the video and do it on your own, all right? But I'm going to keep going here on number 3. Number 3, we have another triangular prism, right? And number 3 is unique because it's kind of standing up and down. So let's decompose this thing here, all right? Okay, so the first thing I notice is this piece. This long side here, all right, it's going to be from here to here. I look and I see that's 25. Okay, now I kind of have my bearings of what's going on, right? So if that's 25, right, I'm looking at this for 6. Okay. Now, if that is 6, this triangle piece has to be 6 because they're going to fold up together, right? Now, if we look at the back of this triangle, see here's the right angle, the back of this, I can see that this 8 is going to go for the height of my triangle, all right? I also know that if this is 25, so is this, and so is this. Once I have the area of one triangle, I'll double it for the other one. The last piece of info I need is right here, okay? And that piece of info has to be 10, all right? Because it's the long side of the triangle. So it's this side, when it folds up, it's going to meet this. So this was actually 10 on the triangle, but I don't need that, okay? So let's go ahead and go to work, all right? Let's take care of our triangles first. 1/2 times 8 times 6, okay? 8 times 6 is 48. Half of 48 is 24. So that is 24, and so is that, okay? 25 times 6 is 150. 25 times 8 is 200. And an easy one, 25 times 10 is 250. Okay? So now we're going to add all of these numbers up. Well, 24 and 24, I'm going to combine those and get 48. Okay? Plus 150, plus 200, plus 250. And if we add all 4 of those add-ins together, we're going to end up with 648, and the unit is feet square. Feet square. Okay? All right, now it's going to get a little bit more difficult. And we're going to take a peek at number 4. Okay, we have to draw the net on number 4. All right? So we have another triangular prism, and I'm going to go ahead and start by just drawing what it's sitting on, and that's a rectangle right there. That's this right there. Okay? Now, on the back of that is a triangle, and on this is a triangle. Okay? And one side has a rectangle, and the other side has a rectangle. Okay? All right, so that's the first piece. So now what we have to do is start labeling some numbers here, okay? Okay. So I see this. You see this piece right next to that rectangle? I know this is 16, so I can kind of go through here and just label all those 16, right? All right, so now I also know that this piece here, which is that, is 5. So that means this is 5. I also can see that the height of my triangle is this dotted line, all right, and that is 11.8. Okay, and I think we need one more piece of information, and that would be this piece right here. When it folds up and hits this triangle, it's going to meet this piece and this piece, and I clearly can see that that's 12. Okay, so that means this side is 12. And let's go ahead and do some math, okay? Let's take care of our triangles. 1/2 times the base. Right here's the base of our triangle. It is 5. And the height of our triangle is 11.8. Okay? So I'm going to plug that into my calculator. And I got 295. So that means this piece is 295 right there. And that also means that this is 295. Okay? So I've taken care of my triangles. Now, 16 times 12 will take care of this rectangle and this rectangle. And 16 times 12 is 192. That means this is 192. Okay? And then the final piece, and I think I made a mistake. I forgot to put a decimal in those triangles. I'm going to come back to that in a second. The final piece is 5 times 16. Well, 5 times 16 is 80. Okay? Now, when I wrote this down on these triangles, there's actually a decimal there. I looked at that again and I thought, well, there's a mistake there. There's no way they could eat that. So this is actually 29.5 and 29.5. Okay, I apologize. So let's add them up. Okay, 192, I wrote that one. 192, I wrote that one. There's an 80, I'm going to put that down. We're adding these up, right? This is what? 29.5, and that is 29.5. Okay? And the calculator is key here, isn't it? We can add all of those add-ins up, all of those numbers, and when we do that, we end up with 523 feet square. Feet square. Okay? Okay. So let's flip it over and keep going. Okay, we've got some more. We're only going to do a couple more of these, all right, because I wanted you to get working on your homework. Okay? So let's take a peek at the next one. And the next one is another triangular prism. So let's start with the triangle, or excuse me, the rectangle that it is sitting on. Okay? And to the right of the rectangle is a rectangle. That's this face right here. And to the left of that is another rectangle. That's that back face right there. And then, of course, in the middle we have two triangles. Okay? All right. And we're going to have to pause for a minute here. Okay, guys, sorry, I was back. I was shooting this. I actually had class there. So let's continue on and take a look at this triangular prism. Just to refresh my mind, I drew a net of this prism. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and label some numbers, okay? So clearly I can see that long edge is 18. I can decompose that. The side of that base is 10, right, is 10. So I clearly know that's 10, and that's 10, right? So these are all 18 times 10. And actually, I'm just going to take care of that right now. It's 180, 180, and 180, because any number times 10, you just add a 0. Now, I need the height of this triangle, okay? And I'm going to look, and there it is. You see how that arrow is pointing down there? So that's going to be 8.6. Okay, so we're going to go 1/2 times 8.6 times, right, 10, all right? And I'm going to plug that into my calculator. Okay, and really that's 86. Half of 86 is 43. So this is 43, and this is 43. You're getting the idea, so let's add them up. And let's do it a little bit differently. Let's take 180 times 3 and 43 times 2, which is back to 86. And 180 times 3 is 540, right? And if we add those two numbers together, we end up with 626, and I'm going to write this over here, 626 millimeters square, okay? Let's move on to the next one, number 6. So we have another triangular prism, and I'm not going to do all of these because I want to save some time for you for your homework, all right? But I'm going to start right now with a rectangle, okay? It's not a very good rectangle, but that's what we have, right? And then on the top of this, we actually have a triangle, and I have another triangle, okay? And then we have the back, and then we actually have this face, which is another long triangle, which is equal to that one, okay? So if all that made sense. So now this is a little bit tougher to decompose, isn't it? And get these numbers, all right? So let's take a look. This is the front, and clearly I can see that edge is 8, right? Here's 5. So all of these are going to be 5. That's 5. That's 5. 5 and 5, right? So what else I need is this piece, and they're actually the same because when this folds up, it's going to meet that, all right? So if I look at that, there it is. It's 6, and that's actually 6. And really, that's all I need, right? If that was 8, this was 8, right? And this was 8. Okay, so let's go. So the first one is 5 times 8, and that's 40. And this is also 40. So let's circle those. This is going to be 6 times 5, and that's 30. And we need to take care of these triangles. Okay, so 1/2 times 6 times 8. 48, half of 48 is 24, and that is 24. So if we were to add all of these circled numbers up, okay, and I'm not going to make you list them vertically like I did before, but if we add all of those circled numbers up, all right, we're going to end up with 168 meters square. Okay? All right. We're into this video about 18 minutes, so let's do one more together, and then I'm going to have you jump on your homework because I want to give you ample time to get working on that because it can be difficult. All right, so the next one up, we're going to start with our rectangle, which is what it's sitting on. Okay, and then over here is a triangle, and down here is a triangle. So those two folded down, right? Now, the next one is going to be, another rectangle, all right? And then it's going to be another rectangle, right? So this folds up on the side, this folds up on the back. All right, so now let's get some dimensions for this. All right, so we have a mess here. I know the base is 12, so let's just label all of these, not all of them now, we got to be careful here, 12, all right? So those two are 12, all right? Now, as we continue on here, all right, the back of that base that it's sitting on is 4. I got that right from there, okay? Now, the slope of this, which is going to close with this, all right, is, the slope of this, which is going to close with this, is 9, right? So that's actually 9, because that's going to fit with this side right there, okay? If this is 4, these are all 4, so we can carry that out. So I just need to get the height of this triangle, and I need this piece right there. Okay, so let's take a look at these pieces here. Well, if this folds up to here, I look right there, and that tells me that that's 11. So I no longer need that. The height of the triangle is pretty evident. It is 7.8. Okay, so now let's do our math. All right, 9 times 4 is 36. Let's circle that. 11 times 4 is 44. 12 times 4 is 48. Okay, so we've taken care of all of our rectangles. Now, let's take care of our triangle, and it's going to be 1/2 times the base. Well, the base is 12 and the height is 7.8. Okay? And when I plug that into my calculator, I'll do that now, so give me a second here. So 0.5 times 12 times 7.8 is 46.8. And if that's 46.8, so is that triangle. Okay? Now you can see what numbers I'm adding because I've circled those numbers. All right? So if we add all of those numbers up on number 7, we end up with 221 and 6/10 inches square. Okay? Okay. So, that's 21 minutes. I want to give you 20 minutes to work on your homework, so we're not going to take a look at these two. All right? But make sure those ones are done. If we flip the page, okay, you can see what you have to do. All right? They've drawn the nets on the first 4. You have to draw the nets on the next 2, okay, 5 and 6. And then you need to label the numbers. All right, we need this in surface area, and there should be work all over the place. All right, not necessarily like mine, but if you just have numbers, that's not acceptable, right? I want to see dimensions all over this place, all right? So lesson 11 is due for Monday. Have a good day, guys.